Okay. Straight in with one thing, which is I think steps does need that -1. I think that's the reason I was getting that overlap. And I'm just going to run it again immediately and see how it looks. I think that is going to do it. We'll see. But the main thing is that, yeah, in fact I'm sure now that I see the shape and I understand, I think about which circumstances the overlap was appearing. Yeah, ones all over. I see no twos. Till I do that. This might get a 2. I'm not too fussed about that. And it doesn't even get a 2. And this gets a couple of 2s. Occasionally lines will cross without getting a 2 when they pass directly through. Not fussed. Honestly, I'm pretty much... I mean, I can hardly believe it works as well as it does, to be honest with you. I await the moment. Look at that. Force it to have a miserable old time. And yeah, it doesn't actually like it. That's not right. This bit's right. That is not right. It's telling me a lot of X or Y's. And it's for this. Sorry, I'm just thinking a little bit. This actually is annoying me very much, that single little thing. Because I can tell that if this is filled, this should also be filled. It absolutely should be. There it is again. Coming on one side, off the bottom. Let me have a little look. So what has just happened to that line? That line at an angle with at least one side of the screen. So it got to right. So I'm assuming it... Now I've got to check again, actually. I've got to do something different. I've got to remove and remove and static. Let me just make sure I'm going to see everything. My mouse is getting troublesome. Okay, well, good. In a way, good. I see that it still missed it. I didn't want it to get it there. IE 24. If I put it there, what say you then? Still nothing. Okay, that's good. IE 24. IE last line end, line start, line end 24. I put it here. Oh, come on, mouse. And the batteries die on this mouse. as I guess they are just about to do. One moment. There. I wonder. Well, we'll see about that mouse wheel. Right. That worked. And there, line start was 24. And line end was 4, right. So I ended up doing it in a different order. And that's the problem. That was the problem. In this piece of the code, my mouse wheel seems slightly better. No, it doesn't. It seems bloody awful. Sorry, stupid microphone. Just looking through this logic, and I think, I don't know actually, I thought I'd just figured it out that it should work, but obviously it does not work. This line is an angle with at least one end off screen. That is the state. No intersection with the left is found. An intersection with the right is found. Num_i is 0. No intersection with the left is found. So this is setting the start to be the intersection with the right. Increases num_i by 2. Then finds an intersection with the bottom. Num_i is again increased by 2. By this point num_i is 4. I could do another debug right here just to confirm it. No, yeah, num_i is 4. It started from 0, it went to 2 and it found one in the right. Plus 2 takes it to 4. I mean, I could just set last pixel to be true here and then have it cleaned up afterwards by this. I think I will. Or will I? I feel like I don't need to. I feel like I shouldn't need to. I'm just going to close this. And I'm going to say debug right num_i plus string num_i. Just tell me what it is at the moment that I call that draw routine. Tell me what it is just now. 2. Right, that's correct. One intersection means num_i gets advanced to 2. Missing the bottom one. Num_i is 4. Yep, that's what I would expect. It's detected 2 intersections, so num_i is 4. If num_i is less than 4, do this. Otherwise, last pixel is true. This is a situation where I maybe should never say that. Maybe I should never say that. That is what's stopping it. I had forgotten to add that little bit of logic in the top here. But that is what's stopping it. Now I'm anxious again about getting that. I'm anxious again about pushing the buffer offset, the data offset, off the side of the. Got ya. Array index out of range, right there. I have to think about this. I think I do need to do that steps check. Because this is the final little thing. This is the, like, that is a strange situation where, yeah, okay. I'm going to do this again in a slightly different way. I forced its hand there, so to speak. I'm going to give it more steps, because I'm also doing a little bit of stuff with first pixel. Yeah, no crash and going to the correct place. And what if I force it into the last position? No crash, totally off screen now. Okay, well, let's have a different go. How do I force it into the last position? I can go there. Yeah, it can occupy it with more steps. It gets into a difficult position though. If I make it occupy it with no steps, I don't think, maybe that won't occupy it. Nope, nothing at all. Nothing at all. Array index out of range. Steps is at -1. Yeah. So it's not going to draw any line. If first pixel is true, it's going to draw. What did it actually output there? 24, yeah. Start and end are at the same position. So it can draw a thing there because that's a valid position. I wonder if I can just say in steps is greater than -1. I'm kind of guessing there, in case it's not obvious. It's because that was a situation where steps was -1. If steps is 0, is that gonna break it? I feel like it can get away with a single step if steps is... I don't know. Let's just see what it does. Well, it outputted something that looks correct. As did that. As did that. As did that. Passably that. That. How do I absolutely force its hand? What happens if I do that? Nothing. Now I'd expect that. I'd like a 0 line should draw nothing. This is starting to look really like it's correct. One moment. Okay. What I was saying was, this looks like it's working. And I should, in theory, just be able to add a recursion. Show what that'll look like. Something like that. Again, render static. And I see that jaggy line leading this way and that, never getting 2, which is as it should be, only ever getting 1. But then if I take it and kind of crush it all up somehow, not that easy, I'll add a recursion. This is going to look pretty mad on a 25 by 25. And then just say, yeah, it's static, save. And then I get a collection of 2s and a couple of 3s. Oh yeah, 1 3 there, 1 there. It's quite exciting. But again, looks like it is occupying. Well, actually it doesn't quite look like that's occupying the right space to me. Maybe I'm not quite reading it right. Anyway, it looks close enough to be going on with. So I'm going to go recursions back down to 1 or 0. Remove, and now I'm going to think about the next thing. I'm going to see that that does indeed look correct. See that? 1 2 3. No, but that's right, because there is like 2 gaps there, 2 points, and I'm not drawing to the last position. Okay. Now that's 2 minutes. I got interrupted there and had lost track of how far I got. I suppose there's nothing to stop me just saying how long is that video. 17, so I'm basically at about 20 minutes. And that means that I should think about the next thing. Well, one thing I should do is let's assume that this is kind of working. I'm going to get rid of these bits that just don't seem to any longer serve any purpose. Except that data B bit, that bit was going to stay. This debug right is going to come with me to here. Maybe it will get used again. Up here. I'll leave those bits for now. This bit. For now. I think that these bits still work. This bit won't have that. Okay. This bit I will have to get rid of shortly because there's not going to be much point printing this out when it is a huge image. In fact, I'll get rid of it right now. And where is the bit? It's just here. That's the bit I need to unram. Okay. Now I need to fix a problem. And the problem is with my gradient editor. Add gradient response. It's probably actually in gradient set. In insert gradient. Something about insert gradient doesn't really work, I think. I equals, let me just demonstrate. When I add a new gradient, I don't get the correct. Oh well, it's hard to say exactly what's happening. Let's just have a look. When I add a new gradient at the right hand side, if the first thing I do is this, and I say make this this, okay, and I see that I get nice in between colors if I say make this this. Okay, get in between colors. That's a bit of a naff in between color if you ask me. Make this this, okay, in between colors. But then when I stick one on the end, that's not what I'm supposed to get. I'm supposed to get a copy of this. And when I stick one on this end, what do I get? This. What on earth is that? It's like something from here. When I stick one in there, that works. When I stick one on this end, every time, something weird, and it's something from over here. When I stick one in there, that works. When I stick one in there, something from somewhere else. Don't know where. So, inserting those values in the ends is clearly not working. This is running with the debugger on and still getting 60. I'm not that surprised with that. Gadgets are easy to draw, I think. So I need to fix that bug about inserting gradients at the end. They get the wrong gradient values. And I need to, like actually when I insert them at the top and bottom they get the right thing. That's just what I want. And I need to put in a couple of other things, threshold gadgets here. Some way of saying this is time and this is height, and actually I was thinking I might just draw it in the backdrop. I do intend to render a gradient block all across this behind the buttons, and something that could go into it could be text saying time with arrows and height with arrows. Now, How far do I want to go with this just now? Number gradients equals 0 return. Make I between 0 and the top gradient. V equals 0. Get the first node in the gradients. Do I ever use this anymore? I just need the node, not get first node. Anyway. This is probably rubbish. Step S equals 1 divided by this. V equals plus step S times 0.5, right? This is get node by index. Get gradient here, and this inserts it, right? Okay, well this is, I can see this being wrong for the start of it. And for the end actually, because of course it loops. But I could be 0 and it still ain't right. I could be 0 and it still ain't right. What I need to do actually is say hang on a moment. The only actual time this gets called with insert before flag is when that first column is clicked. But that doesn't mean that this isn't the time to actually take a bit of action about it. I should say if before flag equals false. Oops. This v plus equals that. So in this case, yeah, it's set to 0 and that's correct. This is hard to think about for a second because actually should it really be if it's true I subtract 0.5 and then I am going to clamp it anyway. I think I do. Else v minus equals step. This is going to say this isn't going to be naturally testable. V equals limit v. Now I'm pretty sure if I use g limit v, g limit, yeah, by default it's between 0 and 1. Oh, monkey has limit. I've just ended up having these bits of my code which I've used, and like I say, if I'm kind of thinking I'm probably going to end up moving to C++ soon, I may as well plod on. I think this fixes it. I'm almost never going to call this before flag on any later column. And I think that the reason I was getting colors from back here when I was adding a column at the end was because, of course, my splines loop, unless you demand a clamped value. Although, I also got to say get gradient, I'm going to have to check that, because I might still get a loop. Let's see. Correct-ish, correct-ish, correct, 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 correct. Always removing the right one, adding with the right color. I think I may allow you to actually reduce it down to 1. Not sure why. Okay. Well, that was a nice easy fix. What sort of time am I at? 14 minutes. I'm not going to put in the threshold buttons yet. I'll leave that till next time, and then I'll put in those threshold buttons. And I think that next time I start coding the bit which I think is going to be relatively simple. I should never ever say that. But the bit that will take what is presently an array and construct a pix map sampling that there that gradient set. Sorry, I shouldn't lose my concentration. There's render gradient. That is render gradient. Draw curve gradient. Yeah, there it is. Now I'm going to neaten this up just before I absolutely stop, just because it helps give me some idea. You know, this is not code, this is just stuff I had to put in when I looked at it, and I may need it again, so I'm sticking it up here. Similarly with this, it's not really anything, it's a reminder, but I want to have an idea of what the actual code is. And it is not Bonnie. There's also this. Yeah. See, I don't do that. Fill in the last preview vert. I don't think it's preview vert. I don't do this, and I'm not sure why it seems to have worked so far, and I'm not going to concern myself with it at this moment. It'll be annoying to have to draw another line here if I'm really not going to make any function calls, because it basically means I will repeat, I think, all of this code down at the bottom there, if that's what I have to do. So, anyway, for now I will go. Next time, finishing the gradient set, edit box, and making this actually draw a gradient render.